I watched some footage recently of you and Carlos Condit and this famous head kick. And, he caught you with this head kick. And I think you had said that was a moment of realization for you. But I see you respond, and I see you in the moment fight back and then get back up to your feet about 40 seconds later. And I'm just wondering, you can't teach that. You can't train that. Or can you? Or is that something that's deep down inside the DNA of George St-Pierre that says, no, I'm getting up?
I actually have a very good story about this fight. When I fight Carlos Condit, what happened is he went on one side, so my vision followed him, and the kick hit me on the side of my head. I never saw the kick coming. I woke up, I was sitting on my butt on the ground, and then I saw him coming at me, like charging at me to come to finish me. I survived that sequence of Carlos Condit because of my loss with Matt Serra. And let me explain that. When I fought Matt Serra, I remember he hit me with a looping punch that cut me right on the ear, and I got very dizzy. At that time, I got very emotional. I made the mistake of being emotional because I was supposed to win that fight according to the so-called expert, and I got, it was the first time I got rocked, so I got emotional with Matt Serra hit me, and I made the mistake to trying to give it back to him right away, to get into a stupid slugfest with him, and I was not accurate, and he was, so he was able to hit me many times, and I finally end up on the ground, and I lost by TKO. And when I reviewed that fight, I identified the mistake that I made. I should have, when I get rocked, I should have stepped back and, accept the fact that I got rocked and, just weather the storm and come back when I'm ready to come back in the fight. Because when the bell ring, the fight start, but the fight don't really start until you want it to start. So if the bell ring and I don't want to fight, I just have to run away. The guy cannot fight me if I don't want to fight. So when I got hit with the kick by Carlos Condit, I kind of woke up. I had a flash knockdown. I woke up on my butt, and I remember all these things. Sometimes when you fight, you have the impression that the time stopped, and it's really like you see the movie Rocky. Everything comes slow. That's how it happened for me a little bit in real life. So I have a lot of thought going into my head. And I remember my loss with Matt Serra, and I told myself, I said, I'm a very proud person. I wanted to stand up, but I told myself, I said, if I stand up right away in the middle of this, he might get me and knock me out. So I will accept the fact that I'm hurt. I'm going to go on my back and accept it and, weather the storm. So he came on top of me, tried to finish me. I weathered the storm, and that's how I was able to come back in the fight and win that fight. So sometimes when you lost, you can lose and learn a good lesson with a loss. So that loss made me a much better fighter.
Wow, that's a powerful lesson. And, what makes a person fight back in that scenario and not just give up? Do you think that's born? Do you think that's made? Is that something deep down in your DNA? Does that come from when you were beat up as a kid or your parents? Or what do you think that is? Because as a fighter, a fighter actually takes punishment. That's what a great fighter does. It's not like you give punishment. A great fighter can take it.
It's hard to say. I don't know if it's genetic or a mix of of the environment, of the social environment. It could be both. For example, I know that if you I've heard, I'm not a fan of this, of course, but I've heard that if you, in a dog fight, the dog that loses, you cannot fight again because he's mentally broken. So in a human being, I think if you face adversity in the past and you were able to overcome it after time, and that doesn't mean you never lost. Everybody loses in life. You lose and you overcome it by becoming better after that loss. So I have lost before, of course, many times, but I never lost for the same mistake twice. So if you lose for the same, or if you lose and then you give up, you know, it can break you mentally. And that's how some people react to it. You know, there's many ways of reacting to a failure. And I always look at a failure as a way to get better and learn from my mistake.